Welcome back to my channel. Hey everyone, thanks for joining me. It's great to have you here. Before we start, here's a short summary so you know what the story is about. Then we'll go into the full story. Language is not merely words, but a living bridge that unites people, and British slang reveals the humor and heartbeat of its culture. Stories breathe life into lessons, while laughter opens the heart so knowledge can take root, and each new phrase becomes a key to deeper human understanding. Learning English is far more than grammar. It is about connection, joy, and the growth that comes from truly sharing life with others. Now, let's begin the full story. Language is more than words. It is a bridge that brings people together. When we think of words, we often see them as tools, simple building blocks that allow us to form sentences, ask for directions, or share a thought. But if we look closer, language carries something far greater than just information. It carries the spirit of connection. It is the invisible thread that draws one human heart to another. Without it, we may still survive, but with it, we begin to truly live alongside one another. Think for a moment about how a single word can change the atmosphere in a room. A word of kindness can soften a hardened heart. A word of laughter can lift a weary soul. A word of encouragement can give someone the strength to take one more step. In every culture, across oceans and mountains, words form the bridge that allows us to step into another person's world. When we learn a new language, we are not just adding phrases to our memory. We are building a bridge to people we may have never known otherwise. Consider how many walls exist between us in this world. Walls of misunderstanding, of distance, of culture, of fear. These walls are strong, but language has the power to cut through them. When you speak even a few words in another tongue, you are saying more than just the words themselves. You are saying, "I see you, I honor your world, I want to meet you where you are." That act alone has the power to melt barriers, and language is not only for strangers. It strengthens families, friendships, and entire communities. When a child hears their parents' comforting words at night, they rest more easily. When two friends share a joke, their bond grows deeper. When a nation's people share a common language, they rise together with a stronger voice. It is the shared sound of belonging. Without it, people may feel alone even in a crowded room. With it, they feel known, they feel understood. Now, let us not overlook that language is more than sound or ink on paper. It is expression. It is music to the ear. It is art to the soul. Some words carry a melody that warms us. Others strike with the sharpness of truth. But all of them, when used with care, can be instruments of unity. That is why learning English or any language is not a small thing. It is not only about grammar rules or vocabulary lists. It is about opening your heart to a wider world. It is about creating bonds that cross borders and finding laughter and life in voices that once felt distant. Language is more than words. It is a bridge that brings people together. British slang is not just funny, it carries the heartbeat of a culture. When we first hear these curious phrases, they may strike us as playful, even puzzling. A word that means one thing in standard English can mean something entirely different when used in everyday British speech. Yet beneath the humor, beneath the sudden burst of laughter, there is something deeper happening. Slang is not random. It is born from the life of the people, from their struggles and joys, their humor and resilience. It reflects how they see the world and how they choose to share it. When someone says, "That's brilliant," they may not be speaking of light or science, but of something simple and delightful. When they call a friend mate, they are not merely using a title, but extending a hand of closeness, a sign of belonging. And when someone describes a situation as cheeky or dodgy, the words themselves carry a flavor that is uniquely British, a mixture of understatement and wit that tells you not just about the event, but about the people who live it. These are not simply words. They are cultural fingerprints. Slang, you see, is the rhythm of daily life. It is the way ordinary people dress up their conversations, adding color where plainness would never do. It is how humor sneaks into hardship, how joy bursts out in small phrases that outsiders may not understand at first, but soon learn to cherish. To laugh at a British slang expression is not only to enjoy a joke, it is to step into the very heart of a culture that has endured centuries with wit and warmth. And when we learn this slang, even as students of English, we do more than memorize vocabulary. We open ourselves to relationship. We begin to hear not just what is being said, but how it is being felt. We sense the humor, the irony, the affection carried in each phrase. A formal textbook may teach us grammar, but slang teaches us personality. It teaches us how people truly live, how they speak when they are at ease, when they are with friends, when they are fully themselves. Every culture has its slang, but the British have perfected the art of weaving it into everyday speech until it becomes inseparable from their identity. That is why to hear it, to use it, and even to laugh at it, is to step into something living, something pulsing. It is more than a set of funny words. It is the heartbeat of a people, steady and strong, echoing through every phrase, carrying with it their history, their humor, and their hope. British slang is not just funny, it carries the heartbeat of a culture. A story can teach us more than a dictionary because it makes the lesson come alive. Think for a moment of the difference between memorizing a list of words and hearing those same words woven into a tale. The list may inform you, but the tale will transform you. A dictionary will tell you what a word means, but a story will show you how it breathes, how it feels when spoken, how it moves through conversation like a thread stitching people together. When we open a dictionary, we find order, definitions, clarity, yes, but the page is silent. It offers us meaning, but not the warmth of voice. It offers us form, but not the spark of life. But a story, even a small one, brings sound, movement, and imagination. It takes those same words and sets them dancing before us. We see them in the eyes of the characters, we hear them in the rhythm of dialogue, and we feel them in the rising laughter or the quiet sorrow of the moment. The story gives flesh to what was once only bone. Language, after all, was not born in silence, it was born in the sharing of stories. Around firesides, across fields, within families, people spoke not to recite but to remember, to pass down wisdom, to bring lessons to life. That tradition continues even now. A child who hears a bedtime tale will recall the words long after the lights are out, not because they studied them, but because they lived them in their imagination. A student who reads a short story in English will remember the phrases not as dry sentences, but as voices they once heard whispering, laughing, or calling across the page. Stories invite us in. They let us walk beside the characters, see through their eyes, and carry their words into our own memory. If we wish to learn slang or idioms, or even the simple rhythm of speech, we must step into stories. There, the words come clothed in tone, in gesture, in context. We do not have to ask how the phrase is used. We feel how it is used. That is why a single story can do what pages of explanation cannot. It makes language real. And do we not remember best what stirs our hearts? A dictionary may fade from memory after an hour, but a story, once it touches us, stays with us for a lifetime. It lingers in the way we tell our own tales, in the way we speak with others, in the way we understand not just the words but the people behind them. A story is not a substitute for study, but it is the soul of learning. It is what takes English, or any language, and turns it from letters on a page into voices in the air, into laughter, into tears, into life itself. A story can teach us more than a dictionary because it makes the lesson come alive. Laughter is a teacher. It opens the heart so the mind can receive. There are lessons that no textbook can ever fully teach, because the heart must first be ready to welcome them. We may read a rule, memorize a phrase, or practice a sentence, but if we approach it with heaviness or fear, the words slip past us. Laughter changes that. It loosens the tightness of worry, it breaks the ice of formality, and it creates an atmosphere where learning feels like play instead of labor. In that space, our hearts are open and our minds are willing. When we laugh, something extraordinary happens. Barriers fall away, pride softens, anxiety fades. In its place grows a sense of ease, of belonging, of safety. And in that state, we are free to absorb, free to remember, free to grow. Think of how often a joke lingers in memory long after a serious statement is forgotten. Why? Because laughter ties the lesson to joy, and joy is a stronger glue than fear will ever be. It is no wonder that teachers, storytellers, and even leaders have turned to humor to reach the hearts of those who listen. A smile shared between speaker and listener builds a bridge of trust. A playful phrase or witty remark can make a difficult subject feel light, and suddenly the mind is no longer resisting, it is receiving. In language learning especially, laughter is a gift. When we stumble over a word and laugh at ourselves, we remove the sting of failure. When we hear a funny phrase or slang expression and chuckle, the memory of that moment seals the lesson far more deeply than repetition alone could ever do. Laughter is not shallow, it is profound. It reveals the spirit of a culture and the kindness of human connection. In British slang, so many phrases carry a humorous twist, a playful exaggeration, a wink of wit. To laugh at these words is not to dismiss them, but to embrace them. It is to let the rhythm of humor lead us into understanding. It is to say, I see not only what you are saying, but how you are saying it, and I am willing to join you in the joy of it. And how beautiful it is that in learning, as in life, laughter makes us humble and hopeful at once. It reminds us that mistakes are not the end but the beginning, that misunderstandings are opportunities for smiles, and that true wisdom does not always wear a stern face, but sometimes wears a grin. Through laughter, lessons find their way past the walls of resistance and into the quiet places of the heart where they can take root and grow. Laughter is a teacher. It opens the heart so the mind can receive. Every new phrase we learn is like a key unlocking deeper understanding of people. At first, a phrase may appear to us as nothing more than a handful of words strung together, a curious sound we must practice until our tongue grows used to it. But as we hold it, repeat it, and hear it spoken by others, we discover that it carries more than meaning. It carries feeling, it carries culture, it carries the hidden treasures of human connection. With each new phrase, a door opens, and beyond that door stands another person, no longer a stranger, but someone we can understand in a richer way. Think of how it feels to hear your own language spoken by someone who is learning it. Even if their accent is heavy or their grammar imperfect, your heart warms because you know they have made the effort to step into your world. That one phrase, however simple, has unlocked something deeper than communication. It has unlocked respect, kindness, and fellowship. Now imagine the same in reverse. Every time we learn a new phrase in English or in British slang with all its humor and charm, we are not merely adding to our knowledge. We are gathering keys, each one fitting a lock we did not know existed until the door opened. And behind every phrase lies a story of the people who created it. Some expressions rise from history, some from struggle, some from laughter shared in ordinary places. When we learn them, we are not just memorizing words. We are glimpsing the heart of those who spoke them first. A simple greeting, a playful nickname, a colorful expression of surprise, All of these are windows into the soul of a culture. Dictionaries may give us definitions, but only people give us meaning, and phrases are their gifts to us. The beauty of language is that it carries both the universal and the personal. A phrase may be common across a nation, yet it will take on new shades in the voice of each speaker. When we learn to use it, we share in that common bond while also touching the personal moment of exchange. In this way, language makes us travelers in a land of hearts. With every phrase we collect, we gain a key, and with every key, another door opens, another lock turns, another life is touched. So let us not grow weary in learning new phrases, even when they seem small or insignificant, for no phrase is ever truly small. Each has the power to open a door we may one day need. Each may lead us to friendship, to understanding, to laughter, or to peace. We cannot know in advance which key will fit which lock, but we can be sure of this. The more keys we carry, the more lives we will be able to touch. Every new phrase we learn is like a key, unlocking deeper understanding of people. Learning English is not just about grammar. It is about connection, joy, and growth. Too often we think of language as a series of rules, something to be studied, memorized, and tested. We measure ourselves by how well we avoid mistakes, how correctly we place a verb, how neatly we construct a sentence. But the true beauty of English, or any language, is not in the perfection of its rules. It is in the life that flows through it. Grammar may be the frame, but people are the picture. And it is for people, not for rules, that we learn to speak. When you speak English, even imperfectly, you are doing something extraordinary. You are reaching out across distance, across culture, across difference, and saying, I want to know you. That is connection. Words do not exist for themselves. They exist for the bonds they create. A sentence becomes powerful not because it is flawless, but because it carries the voice of a person who desires to be understood. And every time we use English in this way, we build another bridge between ourselves and others, and in that moment, grammar has served its purpose. And what joy there is in that connection. Think of the first time you told a joke in English and heard laughter in response, or the moment you shared a story and someone's eyes lit up with understanding. Joy enters when language becomes alive between two people. Even mistakes can bring laughter, and laughter itself becomes part of the lesson. Language was never meant to be cold or mechanical. It was meant to bring warmth, to stir the heart, to carry friendship, love, and hope from one person to another. That is why learning English is not a burden to be carried, but a joy to be shared. But joy alone is not the end of it, for growth follows. Every new word we learn stretches us. Every new phrase strengthens us. Each conversation challenges us to listen more carefully, to speak more boldly, to think more openly. Growth comes not in a single leap, but in countless small steps. A phrase understood today that was missed yesterday, a sentence spoken with confidence that once caused hesitation. And with every step, our world grows larger. New doors open, new friendships form, new opportunities arise. So, yes, grammar matters, but it is not the heart of language. It is only the scaffolding upon which something greater is built. Connection is the true purpose. Joy is the true reward. Growth is the true journey. To learn English in this way is not to burden ourselves with rules, but to free ourselves to live more fully with others, to share more deeply, and to step with courage into a wider world of understanding. Learning English is not just about grammar. It is about connection, joy, and growth.